Hello everyone, I hope you've had a great day so far and that you're doing well. For this video we'll be continuing through our retrospective page through unbagging, unboxing, whatever I'm trying to call it, of the Imperium Weekly magazine with issue number 15. And Imperium was for, I hate tense, for Warhammer 40,000. Now, for this particular video, we'll go through, obviously, issue number 15, the extra inclusions with it, which in this case were some Flayed ones. Because I also had the subscription, we'll also have a quick look at some included paintbrushes that came with the subscription, and I'll also do a running cost comparison of where things are at the point of issue 15, at least to align to my subscription. So, front of issue number 15 with a nice image of a Necron Flayed one. So, based on that, the included models, this will be a bit of a Necron themed issue, particularly around Flayed ones. In terms of the inclusions, so we'll get the 5 Flayed one model kits, which are definitely a lot different from what I remember back in the day. So we'll have, once again, points about the Necrons, flesh-eating Necrons. I don't know why they're called Flayed ones flesh-eating. Maybe they're hungry, who knows. The Imperium Sanctus, which will probably be some story information, and reinforcements playthrough. That's the front. So just a quick summary of the issue once again. Flayed ones, story side of things, there'll be stuff on Imperium Sanctus and Chapter Command, and then the how to build, how to paint Flayed ones, and a mission at the very end, destroy the plasma site. As for the models, so here we have the completed Flayed ones. I'm not going to go through each and every single point about them, but I definitely will try and read up on this back in my own time. It's always nice to have this front page just to go over the actual included hobby materials for each issue. On the back we do have a usual battle record, which is not limited purely to models, as we found out a few issues ago. So we'll have things like the designation, viral degradations, whatever that is, metallic mutations, and trophy takers. So once again, just to give you a bit of guidance to create a bit more of a thematic entry for your squad of Flayed ones. Story side, the Imperium Sanctus, that appears to be an image of, I dare say, Robute Gilliman, I'd imagine. So we do have some information here. Once again, I usually don't go through all of this lore information because it will just become double the length of the video. Going through the concept of the Space Marines Chapter Command. So we have a little featurette regarding Marnius Calgar. And just a breakdown of what is the Chapter Command. And then here we have some various Chapter Masters and Honor Guard. In terms of the Chapter Masters, who do we have? Marnius Calgar, unsurprisingly. Logan Grimnar, Commander Dante, Caven Shrike, who may no longer be the Chapter Master. I can't remember it in full now, just because of some of the recent Raven Guard announcements. We have High Marshal Helbrecht for the Black Templars, and Pedro Cantor for the Crimson Fists, who, yes, I do feel was cheated of a mini. But anyway, moving right along. How to build Flayed ones. Clipping them off, assembly, claws, glue and shoulders. So nothing too out of the ordinary. Now, I'd imagine with the Flayed ones, you probably do need to be a little bit careful because they'll probably have more thinner components than usual. Maybe. Obviously with the build, we'll go through each of the build for each individual Flayed one to obviously give you your 4. So there should be, not 4, 5. So there should be the distinctive 5 models on a 28mm base. 28mm? Where's my brain? And then obviously the last of the Flayed ones. So pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 is pretty much the build steps for each Flayed one. Necrons being Necrons, chances are you'll probably want to try and keep all the parts together. I have heard stories that obviously certain parts don't align perfectly well when mixed and matched. But to be honest, I've been trying to do that anyway with most of the build. since I'm trying to get used to things. But in saying that, certain things are very specific with what they fit with, as I've found out from snipping out by Emperor's Children squads here and there. Anyway, that's how to build, how to paint. So flayed ones, so starting with the Rune Lord Brass, Abaddon Black, Corax White for the flesh pieces, still going through Corax White, the Lead Belcher, probably to add some metallic tone, Canoptic Alloy to just reinforce that, brighten it up, and then the final gallery, at least from a probably game ready, not necessarily parade ready. You can also tell whoever was painting them, they even left all the extra paint on the bases, which is fine, because I'd imagine over time we'll get to the point where we do something with the bases. Playthrough, destroy the plasma site. So here's a quick rundown of the mission briefing between the Necrons and the Space Marines and the actual setup. Nice to see some of these terrain pieces are reappearing. It looks like there could be multiple containers, possibly. Time will tell. Oh, you could have up to. I guess it depends which one you roll. But obviously these containers, etc., were in a previous issue. I think, was it issue 14? Had the terrain pieces. Otherwise, in terms of the mission, so we've got the Assault Intercessors. And I'd imagine there must be an additional unit, because there's 3 and 3. The Lone Canoptic Plasmacyte, who I'm sure will bring friends. Datasheet and rolls, so we're actually doing a bit of a condensed one, which is very nice. There will be some flayed ones obviously coming along, who knows when. And then obviously the actual first few rounds of the playthrough. So Necrons will have the first turn. There are some movements. There is concept about the flayed ones, so I'm guessing they are reinforcements that come in after the initial deployment. So yes, there we go, going into a charge phase with the flayed ones, going through the fight phase. Does look like the flayed ones do cause a good amount of damage in, although it also looks like they lose a few, but I think the Marines in this case probably lose out a bit more, and obviously that other squad of Marines is going elsewhere. So, it'd be interesting to see how that would have ended. I suspect the Marines probably would have lost that one. And then the usual page, just going over the Imperium magazine itself. And then lastly on the back. Okay, so we have previews of issue 16 and 17. 16 we knew was going to be an additional 5 intercessors, so we'll have 5 assault intercessors by the end of this, which is very cool. Obviously there won't be too much in the way of customizations, but hey, 10 intercessors, you can't complain. And issue 17 will, funnily enough, give us a second lot of the Minotaurum armored container. And I suspect, this is me wildly speculating now, because I don't know in full all the future issues. I wouldn't be surprised if another issue gives us a third one, which will be the equivalent of the actual terrain piece, which has 3 of these. So that's the upcoming 2 issues when we get there. Otherwise, that was the page through of issue 15. Okay. In terms of the inclusions of the issue, so we do get 5 of these 28mm bases. I'm not going to look at every single one, because once you've seen one base, you've seen them all. And then the actual sprue for the flayed ones themselves. So definitely a nice array of very thin pieces, so definitely be careful. This will definitely be a case of where I will snip everything out according to the build instructions and make sure everything is kept together just in case. Painting them I can't imagine will be too difficult. It's just a case of how to paint them, which, to be honest, at this point in time I do have an idea of the colour scheme. I just need to try it out and see how it goes. So that is the runner for the 5 flayed ones. Very nice. Now, in terms of the bonus from the subscription, so at this point in time, by the end of the, what was it, issues 15, 14, 13 and 12, there are some array of included paint brushes. So we have a medium layer, a large base, and a medium shade. So just a bit of variety of brushes. So at this point in time, I think we probably have close to half a dozen brushes, maybe a few more if you were like me and managed to score some bonus brushes through buying some loose trays of runners and stuff. But that is very nice that through the subscription we do get to build up our collection of brushes. Now, so obviously those are the 3 brushes, not obviously used yet. Now, in terms of the pricing, and this will be interesting because I actually looked at the pricing of the brushes, just because I have it in front of me. So for issue 15, the Flayed ones alone were around, and this is standard pricing, standard retail pricing per Warhammer.com, 90 Australian. I know. And the 3 brushes, surprisingly, once again, taking a decent guesstimation from Warhammer, 55 Australian for those. I would probably not have bought those particular brushes if I bought them at retail, but that goes to show obviously some of the Warhammer retail pricing. Now, obviously there's a lot of logistics that justify that price, but whatever, I guess. Anyway, in terms of the running total, so at 15 issues in, for a subscription pricing, knowing that the pricing around issue 4 and onwards starts to stabilize at about $20 per issue. Australian dollars, it is around, for me, the subscription was, let's just round it up to about $260, which isn't too bad for 15 issues, especially with all the inclusions. Excluding the actual magazines themselves, so purely the actual hobby materials, the paints, the brushes, the various minis, and obviously extrapolating for certain minis that squads aren't provided for. The running total, if I was to buy all of the minis and everything, in fact, I just realized, let's make this a little less boring. The running total is, just for the sake of rounding, 988 Australian dollars. So for all the plastic we've had included up to issue 15, as well as the paints and brushes, basically shy of 1,000 Australian dollars. And I've been basically, and at this point I've only just paid about 260 Australian dollars for all of that. So it goes to show the value that this subscription had back in the day. Now granted, things are probably were a bit cheaper back then because I'm using 2025 pricing and not 2022, 2023 pricing, so inflation was probably a bit lower. So even if it was shy of $1,000, I can't imagine it being suddenly less than 900 back in the day. But yes, goes to show. I know some people go, no, you can't possibly have good value for these subscription types of weekly build things. Apparently you can. As I said, $260 of a subscription pricing versus a estimated, 988 retail. That's about, what, a third of the price? That's me trying to do some really weird maths at a weird hour, but goes to show. Keep that in mind. The next pricing comparison I'll do, I think, is at the issue 19 spot, since they're basically at every 4 issues. So it'll be interesting to see what the pricing is by then. I mean, it'll be an extra, what, $75 for the subscription, so they'll be over 300 Australian, and however many the hobby materials include, which I know will be at least about 150, given 5 assault intercessors and an extra Minotaurium container. But time will tell. As I said, issue 19. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up there. So we've gone through issue 15, had a quick look at the included minis, the paintbrushes as part of the subscription model, and obviously just the running costs of the model as of issue 15 versus subscription and retail pricing as of 2025. Suffice to say, I'm pretty glad with the savings that I had through doing this as opposed to getting everything individually. To be honest, I probably wouldn't have gotten everything individually. Thank you very much for watching this page through, etc. of Imperium issue 15. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy the content. This does help support the channel, and I do appreciate it. There is stuff starting to populate on my Instagram account. Otherwise, see if there's anything on the community post tab. As of this video, I'll probably be very close to starting the episodic shorts of trying to progressively build my Emperor's Children army. So, as I said, as of this video, it should be coming on the near horizon. So, be interesting to see how that turns out. With that being said, stay safe and take care, and I'll catch you all in maybe next week's video for Imperium issue 16, something else 40k on the channel, or just something in general on the channel. See ya.